Hey, welcome back to Scar Bearers. This is Chris DT Gordon. I'm joined by my new friend, Dr. Sofia Costa. How are you, Dr. Sofia?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing great. It's nice to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you here. And now we have a connection because we were both high school soccer players. And what position did you play in soccer?
I grew up playing soccer. I played it all: forward, midfielder, defense. I did it all.
Awesome.
And then I transitioned over to tennis when I was in high school.
And now what brought you to tennis?
What brought me to tennis, it was really interesting because my father was the one that planted the seed of being active since I was age 4. Gymnastics was the first thing, and then transitioned over to both soccer and tennis when I was young. So when I was playing both sports, and then I entered Taekwondo as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah,
So
we're
I was doing a
connected there
little
as
bit of
well.
yeah, yeah. So I was doing a little bit of everything. And the reason why I transitioned to tennis and made that as my main focus was because it was just a lot, right? Taekwondo, soccer, playing the piano, doing all these things. And it was like, okay, choose one. And then that's why I chose tennis.
Okay. And so, tennis is a very demanding sport. People don't think about it, but you're putting your body through a lot of stop and go motion, and sometimes the injuries can result from that, can't they?
Without a doubt. It's
Yeah.
like, a full body sport, lots of twisting, turning, stop, go, running all over the place and carrying a racket at the same time. So, yeah, definitely you're going to be prone to hurting something, right?
Yeah. And is that what happened to you at the end of your sophomore year, right?
Yeah, so I just finished a tournament at the end of my sophomore year, and I noticed that my left leg was swollen, but I just thought it was shin splints and it was going to go away on its own. And it didn't. This kept going and it lasted. And while I was practicing, I remember telling my tennis coach, and he was like, "No, you're fine. Just keep practicing, keep running, keep doing your thing." And I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "You just put ice on it, you'll be fine." And I remember telling my parents, who are now retired medical physicians, and letting them know, "Hey, my leg is swelling up. Oh, you'll be fine in 3 days, And it just got worse to the point where they took me to a physiatrist, and she didn't even know what was going on. She was like, "Let's get on crutches for a couple of weeks and come back and let me know if there are any changes." And there were no changes whatsoever. So she referred me to an orthopedic surgeon who diagnosed me within 30 seconds of seeing me. I was in the room by myself with him. He looked at me and he was just like, "Oh, you have anterior compartment syndrome. You need to be on a leg cast right now." Boom, like not even
Wow.
like a why, what's going on, whatever. And I was by myself. My mom was in the waiting room, and here they are getting a cast on my leg. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then them telling me, like, there's a huge risk of a lot of complications if you don't cast this leg up. And so that's when this whole, gosh, and it was such a rare injury as well. Later I found out what was going on, but at that moment it was just like, nope, anterior compartment syndrome, cast, bye. That was it.
Wow. Very, very quick turnaround there. And so,
Yeah.
so you get a cast in your leg, and how long did that last for?
So that leg cast was for a couple weeks, and mind you, this was now entering summer, right? So summer is when we get to go on tennis camps, is when you get to go and hang out with your friends and all these things. And no, I was under house arrest because if my leg swelled up again, I needed emergency surgery. So this was not to be taken lightly. This was a serious situation that I was in. So it was very strict that I couldn't do anything. But then after the 2 week of having the leg cast, I needed to be in a leg brace for 4 weeks. And since my body was placed on lockdown, I was like, well, if I can't play tennis, I can visualize and imagine myself playing tennis. And that's when I realized at a young age that no one can take my sport away from me. I can close my eyes and play anytime I want. And so I created a vision board at the time and made a collage of all the images relating to tennis, to winning, to being a champion at life, and all of those things. And that's what kept me going, moving forward, rather than just viewing it as like, I'm like locked in, restricted, confined. My mind can go wherever it wanted to. It was free to play tennis if I wanted to, and really see those images of words of motivation that my body was like, hey, we can play again. We can do this, and we can overcome this and come back on the court stronger than ever. You'll see. And so
Now,
that's the mindset that I had at age 16.
that's great. I know when you're doing these visualization exercises, can you take me through like one such exercise? Like how would you prepare to visualize it? You know, how specific would you get in your visions?
I would simply close my eyes when I was in my room. And because did I cry a lot and felt frustrated and sad and hurt? Without a doubt. But what brought me joy or helped me feel better was closing my eyes, and I would see the racket in my hand. I would see the ball in my hand. I would practice serving. I would just play as if like, I would see it all: forehand, backhand, running for a ball, all the things that involved the sport. I visualized me doing every single bit of it as if I was on the court playing in real life. So that's what helped me cope with the pain and the emotions that I was feeling. That helped support me from within and helped my body stay calm and not so stressed out, freaking out all the time. So that's how I would do it. I would see everything in detail: the court, the net, the sun shining, how I felt, the clothes I was wearing, everything in detail. I witnessed it and felt my body playing tennis.
So it's a very low-tech VR experience.
Yes, it was for free too.
Yeah, I mean, best of both worlds.
Yes.
And so you're doing these visualization techniques, and pretty soon, what happens when you get that cast off?
So after the cast, I was placed on that leg brace. And after that, I was needing to learn how to walk. So because of the leg cast and the way that the brace was designed, I was walking around, like swinging my leg around to move forward. So I had to learn how to walk again, to where I wasn't dragging my leg or swinging it around, because the brain, the body's so adaptable and resilient. So if it has a leg cast on one leg, it's going to figure out how to help you move forward. So I developed this movement pattern of swinging my leg out and around to clear the path, clear the ground to move forward. So you take that out, the brain still thinks you have it on. So I had to learn how to walk all over again. I remember in the hallway of the house we used to live in, my older sister was the one who helped me. She was the one that could see it. She was like, "You're walking funny," right? And we would practice in the long hallway, and she would cue me. And this was before I started doing physical therapy. So it was just learning all over again. And then my parents hired a strength coach because I lost so much muscle on the left leg. And so their go-to was like, we got to get her stronger again. So let's take her to a strength coach and have her train for 3 times a week, until she's able to play again. Because I was told by doctors I wasn't going to be able to play. There is a risk of nerve damage, all the things. And I was like, no, I'm going to get back on the court. Like, this is happening. So then when I was on the treadmill, my first session with the strength coach, I started feeling pain again on my left leg, like right above my ankle. And there was so much pressure and the pain was so intense. We had to stop the treadmill. And he noticed that I had a hernia. I had this bulge and called it the alien, to where he took out a pen and circled it, because when I stopped moving, it would go away. But with movement, it would bulge straight through. So I had to go back and to the doctors again, get a second MRI, do all the testing again. And long story short, I needed to have surgery because of being in a leg cast and brace for so long. My body didn't know really what to do. So any muscle contraction, it was bulging through, herniating through, which was so painful.
Wow, that's that could potentially just put you mentally back like five steps when you had done all this work. And so when you did learn that you had to have surgery, what was going through your head?
I definitely went back, like how you said. I was like, oh man, here we go again. Like right back, right? And it was just like, again, not knowing the answers. You just get a diagnosis, and then you're given like, hey, just do the exercises and you're fine. Oh, hey, you need surgery, that you need to go to the next town 2 hours north of where you're at and have this surgery. And I was just like, I didn't have a say in it. I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a say in it. It was like, do what you're told. And so at 16, right? And then my parents being both medical physicians, you have to do what you were told. That's what it is. Follow what the doctor says. You don't have a say in it. So it was just like, all I knew was that I wanted to play. So basically I was just like, well, I don't know what else I could do. I got to do what they're telling me. If I want to play, I have to do the surgery, right? And they said it was such a rare injury, they didn't know how to take care of it. All they knew was to do surgery. That was the only solution that I had. And so when I had the surgery, that was a brutal recovery. And I did the exercises by myself in my room. That's how motivated I was to get back on the court. I knew that it was up to me and not anybody else for me to get back on the court. So I started doing my own rehab in my room. That's how I started doing it. I wasn't sent to a physical therapist. I was my own PT at the time. And mind you, I mean, that's when the seed of physical therapy was planted, was when I was in this state of being very vulnerable and feeling weak and powerless at times. But then I knew I had control and can shift that towards strength and be like, hey, you want to get on the court? It's up to you to do that. No one else. And so that's when I knew I wanted to learn about the body and enter the profession of physical therapy in the future. But then I was like, okay, let's take it from me right now and do what I need to do. And so when I was able to walk again and do all those things, I went back to the strength coach. And then that's when the whole like getting stronger, all those things started happening. So my whole year of junior year high school, I was training. I was working hard. I was not only strengthening my body, but my mind even more so. Like I was such a go-getter, and I was known as that in high school. And, I wasn't messing around, and grateful I had the support from my parents because I was so stubborn. I was like, I don't care how much it takes. I'm going to get on that court because I felt free on the court. Any sport you play, you have a sense of freedom. And then when pain or an injury takes that away from you, you become identified by the pain. And I was like, I don't want this to be my identity. I don't want to believe the doctors that, hey, you're stuck like this for the rest of your life, or you'll never be able to be fully active again. No, I chose not to believe that. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful I didn't choose to believe that and took power back into my hands and made it possible to where my senior year of high school, I tried out for the varsity tennis team again and got ranked #1 and voted team captain, and rocked it my senior year. You couldn't even tell that I was injured.
That's fantastic. And so your entire junior year, you're training, and then senior year, you get team captain. How far did you guys go that year?
I made it to regionals.
That's
my
awesome.
Senior year. Yeah, singles. I played both singles and doubles, and my senior year, I made it to regionals.
And the previous year, you were not even on the court.
Not even on the court.
That's fantastic. And so after high school, what was your next step? You said you were looking to go into physical therapy. Was there anything else, or was your mind set?
Oh man, I just kept adding to it, right? So because I was able to witness and value the power of movement and see the world of strength coaching and weightlifting and all of those great things. I wanted to help people, but in a different way than physical therapy. So after I graduated high school, I went to Texas A&M University and earned my bachelor's in exercise physiology. And soon after that week, like a week after I earned my diploma, I got certified as a personal trainer. And I started working as a personal trainer. And I was like, well, I'm going to keep doing this until I get into physical therapy school. I got rejected from physical therapy school for 4 years in a row.
Wow.
4 years in a row. And not a lot of people know this story, by the way.
Okay.
So I just kept going. I then got offered a job to work at Equinox in Miami. And I moved from Texas to Miami. And it was so interesting. They were like, you're going to start off as a level 1 trainer. And I said, no, I'm not. I didn't move across the country to start as a level 1 trainer with a bachelor's from one of the top universities. Give me the test right now. I'm going to pass it and you're going to have me start as a level 2. And that was the first time ever in Equinox history that they allowed someone to test out ASAP and start as a level 2 trainer.
Now, what is the difference between a level 1, level 2? I'm not.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So the one is the payment, right? So level 1 trainer, meaning like you're not going to get paid as much, but it just means like that's how you start in the company. They have tiers. It's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And every time you rank up, you get paid more. And they offer in-house education for you to learn what you need to learn, you know, with creating movement, program designs, you know, like learning how to connect with clients, you know, all of those things. They have prerequisites for you to go to the next tier. Well, I skipped through all of those prereqs and I went straight into tier 2. And then, you know, I was able to go into tier 3 in less than a year, and qualify as a master trainer, to where I was teaching trainers how to create program designs, teaching anatomy and physiology and all the things to help you know, empower the trainers to be able to help somebody while they're understanding the body and how it works and all of those good things. So while I was getting rejected every single year from physical therapy school, I was still up leveling myself as a person who just valued movement and working with clients. I was still in sync with what I was passionate about, and you know, ranked up in the company. And then I finally got accepted into physical therapy school and moved over to California to pursue that.
Excellent. And where was that at? Where did you take classes for physical therapy?
So I earned my doctorate here in San Marcos, California, at a school called the University of St. Augustine for Health Sciences. So
Excellent.
while I was being rejected every single year, I was retaking courses to increase my GPA, and I was taking continuing education courses to maintain my certification as a personal trainer. So I was still like doing my thing, you know, and doing all the things to help me become the change that I wanted to see within the healthcare field, within any world, you know, because when I was young, I was an approach, you know, seeing like my parents work as doctors, you know, how I was treated when I was 16, I saw the gaps. And so I was just so motivated to dedicate my life to learn as much as I could learn and help people in a better way, you know, in a different way. So yeah, that's what California helped with my, you know, help me get my doctorate degree. And then gosh, I just like the journey just keeps going after that.
Yeah. So I guess that's a natural progression to where are you now?
Currently, I'm in Santa Monica. I'm now, I branched out as a solo practitioner June 2016. So since then, I continue to expand and evolve, and learning that pain is not just physical. It's not just the structural aspect. And often with conventional medicine, the problem is you're only treated as a physical diagnosis, you know, like my left leg was bothering me and I had back pain for more than 10 years. It was just like, oh, you're only seeing where your pain is and nothing else around the body. And, you know, and speaking of sports, you know, we know there's no I in team. The same with the human body. It doesn't work in separate parts. They all need to work together to support each other. So to only treat the structural aspect of your pain, it's only the tip of the iceberg. You got to look what's underneath the surface and treat it and help it out. Heart, mind, body, and soul, mindset, your emotional health, the foods that you're eating, all of these things. So there was a bunch of stuff I learned outside of physical therapy school, and I'm grateful to be able to offer an inside-out integrative approach, so there's nothing missing anymore. You're not just looked at as your pain, like, oh, hi, I'm Sophia, I have back pain, or hi, Sophia, I had an injury and had surgery. It's like, no, hi, I'm Sophia, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm happy, and I'm here to support you every single step of the way.
So if I were to come in and say, hey, Dr. Sofia, I hurt my leg, and how can you help me? And feel free to give an example of a patient you've helped before. How would you go about solving my issue?
So I've transitioned online. So I was a hybrid practitioner for several years, and started solidifying the remote support over a year and a half ago. And now with this, with the pandemic crisis, I was like, you know what? I can help so many people virtually. Let's jump in 100%. I wrote a book, so I'm able to help support people without them needing to see me. But what I do is when I see you on Zoom and you tell me about your leg, what we're going to do is, tune into the emotional component of it. How did it make you feel? What is it blocking you from doing? And how does that feel that you're not able to do things? All of these things. And it's like, when have you felt like this before? And it's including the timeline of your life, and other things are going to come up. Oh, it's not just your leg. Oh yeah, I had this happen too. I had surgery here. Or I used to be sick all the time. I include everything. It's like, I call it detective work. So we dive in and ask all of these questions, but I sit back and listen for you to express everything all about that leg. And then I create space to connect the dots for you, and we get clear on your why. Why do you want to feel better? Because what tends to happen is you're given exercises, but then eternally you don't know why you're doing this. Yeah, you want to be free of pain, but there's more to it than just that. Free of pain, cool. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What would your day look like without feeling pain? And so we dive into the why and begin reprogramming your thought patterns and shifting your perception of what this pain means, so your body feels empowered and safe to heal, right? So the body can't heal until it feels safe. So I start with the mind, and then we go into the emotions, like past stress and trauma, surgeries, injuries, and things like that, and give you tools to navigate through those feelings, because pain is more than 50% of pain are trapped emotions. Okay. So we have that subconscious mind that remembers everything from birth to present moment. So we dive in, right? And we start figuring out, like, oh, wow, I remember when I felt angry, da, da, da. Okay. Let's dive into that and transform that anger into your strength. Let's transform it into your superpower. And that way you're no longer like holding that in your body. And then we go through movements and all of those good things. And I can see how you're moving. I cue you, and you have like a 8-week movement program right there for you. There's no need to like feel unsupported or not know what you're doing next. You know what you're getting into, you know how to do it with the pre-recorded videos and all of those good things. And then we get on board on Zoom and we target everything: mindset, gut health, emotions, your thought patterns, everything, all the things.
That's such a fantastic way of looking at it, because, as you said before, we tend to compartmentalize things. And it's like, oh, this is just a leg issue, or this is just an arm issue. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about how this holistic methodology could work with so many things, not only in our bodies, but society as well. Why do we do this a certain way? How does this, how could this better function if we look back at the history of it and try to not only work at the problem itself, but try to help everything around it? And so I really am intrigued by this this approach. Is this, I have a feeling that this approach isn't one that is just Dr. Sofia's, but it's been around for a long time. We just haven't heard about a lot of it. Is that true?
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. Look at the shaman healers, shaman medicine. Look at traditional Chinese medicine that's existed for more than 5,000 years. Look at the indigenous being able to use plant medicine to heal wounds, to heal illnesses and diseases. Learning to use Mother Earth, to help heal and being in tune and connected. Back then they had villages. Everyone took care of each other. My father would always say, it takes a village. And it really does. And that's, I'm here to shift the paradigm of the old way of treating doesn't work anymore. We got to remember back then of how our ancestors did it, right? Like, they still exist. The reason why traditional medicine and shamanic healing methods still exist is because it works, because it integrates energy. It integrates using food as medicine, and it integrates the power of your mind and how your thoughts and beliefs create your reality. So of course, this has been around for generations, right? Is that we forgot that your body already knows how to heal. You just need to activate the wisdom again. And that's what I support people do, is activating that wisdom for your body to remember to heal itself. And here are some tools that are going to keep igniting that process in a safe, loving, supportive environment. Because we've all been there with the whole taking prescription pills, doing the exercises, doing the stretches, massages, physical therapy, chiropractor, all the things. But you got some gaps there. You're missing out on the truth. I compare it to, you have a house, you have a crack in the foundation. You pour concrete on that crack. That's the conventional medicine approach. You see a crack and you treat the crack. But is the ground uneven? Was there an earthquake? Was there a storm? Is there a crack somewhere else? You got to look the whole entire house, inside and out, to figure out why did this foundation crack and how you can prevent it from happening again. It's the same with the human body. Your back hurts, you got to look at everything else, inside and out.
It makes so much sense. And, I'm enlightened just talking with you about it. So thank you very much. And so if you were, if someone listening to this or watching this were to want to learn more about you, how would they be able to do that?
Yes, they can follow me on Instagram. It's Dr. Sofia Costa, DrSoFIA Costa. And I love connecting. So feel free, don't feel afraid to reach out to me and have the courage to ask for support. We're taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness when there's so much power in that. Even if you tried so many things before and have failed, you want to try something different, I'm here to support you with that. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and I post great content. I love posting and connecting with people. So just know you're not alone in this, and it is all possible for you to live a life where you're no longer feeling limited or worrying about pain anymore.
And, building upon that, that sounds like it's part of the message you want to send out to people, especially about pain, right?
Oh yeah. I view pain as my greatest teacher now. It took more than 15 years to figure it out. So wouldn't you want to be with someone or connect with someone who does the work too, right? I see often doctors and other people who tell you what to do, but have you ever asked, are you doing it too? What would you do, right? We all have the power to ask. Anyone telling you to do something, ask in return. Would you do this to yourself or for yourself? And what things are you doing to heal your body? So I've been there, I can relate. And so what I've learned through my years of so much trial and error is that pain is our greatest teacher. Why? Because that's the way of the body communicating with you. It's language. We use words to communicate. The body uses pain to communicate with you. It's up to us to listen. We already know how to heal. We just need to listen and pay attention to what the body is needing and honor that. Honor that your body knows what it needs, right? So that's what I would say is use pain as, view it as your greatest teacher and use it as an opportunity to create some type of change in life, lifestyle change. Hey, you know what? Like, I want to have an attitude of gratitude. I'm going to say every day what I'm grateful for. Hey, you know what? Instead of looking in the mirror and hating every single aspect of myself, I'm going to tell myself that I love myself. Hey, instead of eating all this stuff because I'm eating my feelings and don't know what to do, I'm going to start honoring my body with things designed by Mother Nature. Like, hey, you know what? This people makes me, feel low about myself. I'm going to create a better circle for myself to keep me uplifted. It's all interconnected, but just know it's all possible for you. And this pain, this hurt you feel is an opportunity to create a shift in your life, because everyone deserves to feel free.
That's excellent. And again, I appreciate you sharing that message, because I think so many people do need to hear that. They get trapped by their pain, and they don't see it as a message. They see it as a prison sentence. So
exactly. And then it feels like it's working against you. I felt those same things too. It's like, I used to cry myself to sleep because it's like, gosh, like my body hates me. Like, why my body hates me and I keep failing at feeling better, right? But rather, let's shift that perspective and be like, okay, you're hurting, what's up? Right?
Yes, indeed. All right, well, this has been a fantastic conversation. One more question I have to ask, Dr. Sofia. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh my gosh. I love that you asked that, because I loved dinosaurs growing up. And so my favorite is the Stegosaurus, always, and still is.
And why is that?
Remember the movie, oh my God, Land Before Time?
Yes.
Okay, the three dinosaurs, Triceratops, Brontosaurus, and the Stegosaurus called Spike. I loved Spike's character because he was just like, like he was just there and he ate everything and he was just there real cool doing his thing. And I just love that character. I was drawn to him the most. So Stegosaurus is my thing.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Dr. Sofia, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for meeting with me today. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here. And I loved connecting with you as well.
Excellent. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dr. Sofia. If you want to reach out to her, you can find her at DrSofiaCosta.com or on Instagram at Dr. Sofia Costa. If you want to find out what I'm doing, you can find me at ChrisDTGordon.com, where you can find out about my speaking and coaching opportunities, and on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me at Chris D.T. Gordon. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thanks, as always, for joining me. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.